Today we're going to have a go at making a wreath using our deco mesh. This is a kit that we have available, so I'll show you all the processes that you need to make your own wreath, and we'll have one ready for you at the end. So what you're going to get in your kit is you're going to get the mesh. Now you create this yourself with your own materials as well, but if you actually choose to buy the wreath kit, you'll actually get the mesh that will be cut. There's two colors, either the white or the natural. So we're going to work on the natural now, but we'll also have a white version. I'll show you. You'll get a wreath frame, you'll get the cable ties you need, these little mounts for mounting your sign, and then we'll have a sign that we'll show you at the end that can go on here, so a number of signs. So I'm going to show you the processes in case you're going to make it with your own materials, just so you know what to do. But the first bit, you'll actually get all this cut for you. If you're making it from scratch yourself, you're going to need some sort of cutting board, a cutter and a ruler. And what I'm doing is I'm just going to run it off the edge of the table, and I'm going to cut these pieces. All of these are in US measures, in inches, so I'm going to cut to the 15-inch mark for all of the mesh. So let me go through and cut all of this for you first. There's nothing special about that, and then we'll come back and show you how to use it. All right, so we've cut some of our mesh, so what I wanted to do now is just show you the sort of the start of the process, and I'll cut some more mesh to keep going. So the signs are nice and big, and they're going to take up most of the wreath frame there. When I was having a play earlier, I decided that we're going to tie our mesh into the middle and the inner wires here and not use the outer. I just felt that the mesh sat flatter against the wall doing it that way, and it kept it all sort of sitting out more. So these frames have natural divides, obviously holding the wire together. So we're going to put one piece of mesh on the inner and two on each of the middle rows and nothing on the third. So the way I'm going to do that, and you'll get these everything you need in your kit. So we've got our mesh laid out, and then we just kind of bunch it up with our fingers like this. So you kind of create a little bow. And then with our cable tie, with the cable ties, you get used to using them. They've got a top and a bottom, so if you try and put it together and you turn it up the wrong way, it won't hold. So if I put this cable tie in there, it won't actually do up. So therefore you've just got to make sure you've got your cable tie the right way. Put the cable tie around here, and this stage I don't like to over tighten the cable tie. All right, so then you can adjust it if you need to, or if you made any mistakes. You're just loosely getting it onto there. So I'm going to work mine by doing the whole inner ring, and then I'm going to do the outer ring. So just one of these sections at the moment on each of the inner, and then if we need to, we can add some more. Okay, so at this stage what we've done is we've just tied one piece of mesh on each of the sections. It's still loose, so we can still move it around on here until we decide that we're happy with it all. Keeping it loose means if we want to take it off, it's a lot easier to cut it without ripping our mesh. It also means if we wanted to add another piece in somewhere, so let's say once we put our sign in, we feel that there's a little bit of a gap, we can play with that and adjust. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some more of the mesh, same size. I'm working on a 15-inch size pieces, and I'm going to cut enough now to run two pieces on the middle section here, and we'll work that all the way through our wreath. Okay, so I've cut some more mesh now, and now, as I mentioned, I'm going to continue the same process, running two cable ties around each of the sections here, and leaving the last row blank. Just once again showing you we're just pinching the mesh. It rolls up a bit on you. The mesh can sort of stick to your clothes too. You don't want to have something that is very special on, can kind of pull at your fabric, so just be careful with that. And turn it over and run through the middle. This is a really basic wreath that we're creating here, but because the signs are so pretty in the mesh, it's just got that gorgeous color through it, we thought that we didn't need to add any ribbons. But if you want to, if you want to add picks, if you want to add ribbons, then you can go ahead and do that as well. But the kit for this one is just a lovely, simple pastel color wreath. Run cable tie and push it through the middle. Still loose. You can see how it's filling out though, just from that first section that we've done. So I'm going to continue and just work all the way around on that. Just to show you the second row where it gets a little bit more congested, how you work with that. So scrunching up your mesh. I always put my cable tie around my mesh. Then hold your, you can have a look here to see where you're up to. So I'm up to this section here. I've only got one cable tie there. So you work from the front, put your mesh on and feed the cable tie just under both sides of the wire, and then just tighten that up enough that it's going to stay bunched up. So you're just continuing to work your way around to fill it out that way. We'll do one more. Cable tie over the top. So you're sort of holding everything together there with the cable tie. Then put your cable tie on either side of your wire and then pull it on. And we're going to just continue and finish off the process. So now we've put the mesh all the way around. If you have a look at the back, still got the cable ties. They're actually still loose on there, but I'm happy with the level of fullness on that. So I'm going to just pull the cable ties all tight. And once we've tied them off, then we're just going to cut off all the ends of the cable ties. Obviously make sure you're not cutting your mesh. These pliers would be, or cutters would be much better. I don't have any at the warehouse with me, so I'll use these old scissors. So we have our wreath frame ready to go, and we're going to go with this Easter sign that we're going to attach onto here. It'd be very difficult to attach it with the rope that comes with it, so I'm actually going to cut that off. And instead, what I'm going to do is use these cable mounts. They come with the kit, so you'll get 2 cable mounts to put onto your whichever sign you choose. These cable mounts, if you need to buy them yourself, are from electrical supply places or from Bunnings. You should be able to get some. And all I want to do is work out where I want to attach the cable mounts, because I'm going to put them onto the back in two places, and then use my bind wire that I'm going to just feed through it to tie it onto the middle of the wreath. So I find the easiest way to do this is, first of all, just make sure you're happy with the positioning of all your mesh, because you're going to lay your sign on top of that. So I just want to see if sort of get the positioning right here, and I would like to try and attach this using, you look at your frame, you actually have those joining wires, and they're diagonally opposite each other. So I want to use the top and bottom of that I can tie my bind wire around, and that way they're not going to slide around on the middle section of the wires. So therefore, I just need to roughly work out, oh my gosh, all thumbs. Just going to position that sort of on top there. And then all I'm trying to do here is work out how high up I need my mounts to be on the So what I've done there is just roughly, now they're off center, so ignore that, but roughly worked out how high I want my cable mounts to be. So if your signs are different size, so let's say you go with this one, then by positioning it the same way, you can work out how high up you need to put these mounts onto the back of the frame. I hope that makes sense. So keeping that sign straight, I'm going to position my mounts roughly where I marked it. It's not essential, it just helps keep everything tighter, and whenever you can keep your piece tighter, it's going to make it last longer and sit how you want it to. These are self-adhesive, so you just and then get a couple of pieces of wire as well to attach, and the bind wire goes through the cable mount. Just make sure that's nice and secure. Okay, and then what we're going to do, so we've got all of that prepared, the cable mount, because it's all exactly the same all the way around, it doesn't matter where you want to work, you just want to decide which of the frame pieces you're going to tie it to. So try and have that sort of up at the top and wiggle your mesh around so you can see it. So I'm just trying to get my hand onto that, and then I'm going to start by just very loosely tying it around, and I'll show you the back in a moment so you can see. And I say loose because I don't want to squash all the mesh. So I've just loosely, and this can all be untied if we're not happy with it, and try again. So just put that like that, and then the other side will work directly opposite. Just work your way through all the mesh so you can get your wire in. And if you can just come in, I'm just trying to work, see how I've got it kind of a bit of a crossbar there. So by working across both sides, or it's probably best if I go on that side actually, then my sign will tie up around that and won't, if I went on there, it would just slide around. That's it. So then by putting the mesh as we did around the second ring, it's going to sit nice and flat on the door, and that's it. That's how easy it is to create a really simple mesh wreath using the lovely metallic finish in the mesh itself to give it all the decoration. But if you wanted to add some ribbons, we have done lots of other mesh wreaths before, so you can have a look through the other videos to see if you wanted to add some ribbons to it, or you could add some picks, or you could even just add a few Easter eggs that you just glue onto the mesh to finish it off. These kits are on our website mychristmas.com.au. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day. See you.